Hey, deserving listeners, it's time to continue our journey with Colt and Larissa. My name is Dr. Kirk Honda. I'm a therapist and a professor. Let's get to the show.
You are so mean to me.
Stop being hostile.
Why I mean to you? What you do with my life, in my marriage. Our marriage is like this because of you.
You need to be nice to me.
I clean the house.
You need to calm down now.
Scream like someone crazy.
You're the queen, drama queen.
I'm a queen, of course. I clean my house. It's look amazing.
You drive people nuts. In the past month, she just starts blaming me for everything wrong in her life. It's just horrible, just horrible. I am so sick of the drama with you.
Right, I'm reminded, it's been a while since I've watched this show. I'm reminded of the hypotheses I had about each of their schemas. This is an interesting little vignette here, scene that I stopped on. For the mom, it appears that she has a schema of worthlessness, that there's something deeply wrong with her, and she defends against that in a number of different ways, maybe by focusing on Larissa, I don't know. For Colt, his issues, I believe, lend itself towards some level of thinking he's superior to other people because of the worthlessness that he feels. Obviously, there's a lot of other possibilities and hypotheses I'd explore if I was actually working with them. The death of Debbie's husband, Colt's father, probably plays a role as well. Their development, the way their family operated, all sorts of things. But for Colt, he doesn't actually give me much data to build hypotheses around. He's pretty restricted in his behavior, and so whenever someone's like that, it's hard to know what's going on behind the veil of the way they act. But I think that it's possible that he feels worthless on the inside, and he tries to manage that through trying to be very intellectual, i.e. arrogant. And this is total speculation. I would have to ask them about if any of this makes any sense, and even if it did make sense to them, they'd say, well, there's a whole nuance to that human beings are deep. If it's one thing I've learned about humans being a therapist, is that there's a deep story to every human being. For Larissa, her schema seems to be one of, in order to gain attachment security, in order to get closeness and people loving her and people being close to her so that she can feel safe, is if people are giving her compliments and or material possessions. Because she often, if there's one thing she said a lot to Colt last season was, please compliment me. You never compliment me. And when that doesn't happen, she gets very hurt and then she gets very angry. So it's interesting how the three of them fit together, because in this instance of the triangle, we see that for Larissa, she puts Debbie down and says, you're worthless. Essentially the message from Larissa to Debbie is, Debbie, you're a terrible person. You're to blame for all this. I'm guessing that for Debbie, this is actually a complex of hers that she developed way before she ever met Larissa, maybe even before she had Colt as a son. That for Debbie, this is a core terror of hers, that she is worthless, that she is to blame for everything. I think that amplifies Debbie's emotionality in this situation and might even facilitate why these three fit together. I know watching this, it might be like these three don't fit together, but they do fit together because they've chosen to be with each other. And you have to wonder why. And this happens a lot. Some of you might be in situations like that right now where you're just like, why am I in this situation? Why is my brother in this situation? Why are my parents in this situation? They seem to be so unhappy and they never change anything about things. Well, sometimes we link up with other people because they allow us to embody and externalize our internal dialogue. If I believe that I'm worthless on the inside, I might choose someone to tell me I'm worthless so I can externalize that, because it's easier for it to be on the outside than on the inside. It's a fantasy. And or it gives me the opportunity to fight against it, because it's easier to fight against someone on the outside than to fight against some voice inside of me. So in the same way that Colt and Larissa chose each other, Debbie is choosing to be involved anyway. And for Colt, this whole situation allows him to feel above it all and to feel like well, look at these women and their craziness. I'm not as bad as them. Surely all the viewers at home can see what a crazy situation that I'm dealing with, and I'm the intellectual one, I'm the calm one. It gives him an opportunity to say, okay, well, if the weirdness and the bad behavior is outside of me, then I can be distracted from the voices inside of me telling me that I'm a bad person and I'm worthless on the inside. I don't know that about Colt because he doesn't really tell us much about his inner life, but there seems to be some indication of that. What is this system serving? And that's how systems thinkers think, is how is this system serving each person's needs in a destructive manner? Like I said, for Colt, it might be meeting his need for superiority because as long as the conflict and the chaos continues, he can feel like he's superior to that. For Debbie, it maybe gives her an opportunity to feel like, yeah, once again, I'm worthless, but I'm going to fight against that worthlessness in a way that I wasn't able to do when I was 4 years old. But this time I'm going to fight against the injustice of it, and I'm going to prevail because my son is going to side with me. So maybe that's what it gives her. For Larissa, maybe it gives her, and this is a lot of speculation, because Debbie is still in the house, it gives Larissa the chance to once again fight this old fight where Larissa, total speculation, early in life had someone that was interfering in a very real way with her attachment relationship with someone else. And what this scenario gives her is the opportunity to finally fight as an adult against that third person and really let Debbie have it in a way that Larissa couldn't do when she was 7 years old because she was young and powerless. But now she has power, and now this three-person scenario gives her a chance to really let that person have it. The person she really wants to let have it is that person from when she was a child. But she can't go back in time, but she can yell at Debbie. So each person, seen through a certain lens, gets something out of this situation that results in what we see. And so when you can see that and you throw that out there, and if they agree with that and you can refine that, then we have a path forward. How can we help Larissa heal from those wounds? How can we help each of them heal from their wounds so they don't need to create conflict and chaos to meet some other need systemically as a threesome? Who knows? As I always say, total speculation. In fact, I say it so often, y'all asked me to make some merch that said total speculation that you can actually buy with the link below. You can get a t-shirt that says total speculation on it, which I find to be just delightful and just strange to me that little phrases that I would say would end up being on a t-shirt.
I try everything in the world
Debbie,
to be
why
nice
you
to you.
don't
I
go to
try,
your house
I try.
and take care of it? Find a man for you.
What? Just like that, you can turn. Just like that.
Tomorrow the queen will make food, okay? Don't freak out.
Tomorrow the queen will make more drama. I'm sorry.
Wow.
It might even give Debbie and Colt something to bring them closer together, maybe, because there's nothing that brings people closer together when you have a common enemy, politically, nation-wise, at war, or even in a home. When you both hate someone, you bond, The enemy of my enemy is my friend. And when you feel like you can't get closeness, some families will create an enemy or maybe even bring one into their house so that they can get the closeness that they feel that they can't get. We don't want to demonize that triangulation. What we do want to do is give them closeness so that they don't need the triangulation to give them closeness.
I do everything in the world for her.
Well, she has a lot going on right now.
So we should suffer?
Well, no one should suffer. That's not.
She's mean. She says nasty things to me. She calls me names. I don't want to deal with her. I don't want to deal with her.
All right, well, that does it for that episode of Psychology in Seattle. If you're feeling overwhelmed with the emotions of watching this show, make sure you take some time, do some deep breaths, remind yourself that everything's okay, and take care of yourself because you deserve it. You really, really do.